Nerdvengers, the post-credit scene for Venom Let There Be Carnage is absolutely insane, and we just spent $6 billion on this advanced AI here in Nerdvengers Tower that will tell us all sorts of crazy things. Computer, are you there? Hello, Josh. I am here. Computer, tell us, what is the meaning of the Venom Let There Be Carnage post-credit scene? I have no idea. Who knows what crazy stuff they are cooking up. It kind of seems like that might have been a waste of money. Just saying.
What's up, everybody? It's Josh coming at you from Nerdvengers Tower, as always. And yeah, I saw it, man. The post-credit scene for Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. It's what's on everybody's mind, and we're going to get into that. Spoilers. I do want to talk about the thing that everybody's talking about. That, of course, is the inclusion of Tom Holland, Peter Parker, and what that all means. But there's some stuff in this post-credit scene that I see a lot of people not picking up on. There's this certain aspect, and it has to do with the symbiote and the hive mind and some stuff like that that takes my mind to some really interesting places. So let's start by describing the scene as best I can to you right now. The scene picks up, and they are in this sort of rinky-dink kind of a boogaloo or like a hotel room or something like that, and they're watching this older TV, and they're watching this like Telemundo kind of soap opera thing on the television. Now, this, we believe, is picking up from the very end of the film where Venom and Eddie are on the run, seemingly going someplace foreign in a different country, sand in the toes, that sort of a thing. Their good ending. Well, apparently, from where they are at, they're just sitting there talking about secrets. Okay, so that kind of comes up. There's an interesting element here where Eddie's like, oh, so you're keeping some secrets from me. And then Venom says, billions of years of hive mind knowledge of all about the universe or something to that effect would literally fry your little brain, saying like, yeah, I keep a lot from you, okay? And then, interestingly, Eddie's like, okay, well, I can handle it. Let me have some of it or whatever. And Venom's like, I'll share just a little bit of with you right now. Are you ready? And Eddie's like, yeah, I'm ready. Then something happens. There's this big flash of light outside, almost like a crack. It sounds very similar to what you hear in the SpiderMan trailer when the big scene happens and Doc Strange is screaming, etc., etc. And the room changes. It is a different room. It is a different television. And then Eddie sort of suits up with Venom. You see Tom Holland Spider-Man on the screen, and you see a report from that J. Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man Far From Home, and it's indicated that Venom is, seeing that this is Spider-Man. Now, Venom says something really interesting. He says, that guy. Now, depending on how you take it, this could indicate that Venom actually already knows of Spider-Man, which I'll get into in just a little bit here. But regardless, the implication here is that Eddie Brock was brought in to the MCU. And to really put a stamp on this, some guy comes out of the bathroom and says, why are you in my room, dude? And Eddie's like, I don't know. Like, I have no answer for that. So that is the scene in its entirety. And yeah, I think it's super hype. Like, this is a very cool thing to get really excited about. The obvious implication is that Venom is brought into the MCU. That's Tom Holland. This is the MCU. And he's likely being brought in a similar way that we are seeing the other villains brought into the movie by Doctor Strange or that spell or something like that. And we're not sure about the timing exactly. And this character, Venom, being in a different country might well make it so he can't really show up for the full No Way Home movie and will likely show up as a post-credit scene coming to see Peter Parker, right? But doesn't that kind of mean then that the spell won't just put all of them back into their universes, right? It might be the case that these characters are sort of stuck here for some time. And this sort of gets into some spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home, so get out of here if you don't like that kind of stuff. But it's rumored that those villains are brought in via the multiverse because of the spell, but Doctor Strange cannot figure out how to put them back into their reality right away. And so he's keeping them in like a prison, and that's when Peter, Norman like gets him and Peter like breaks them out and tries to give them a second chance, but there's no way home, right? That's the way that works. So one must wonder, is Venom now stuck in the MCU? Is there any way for him to get back to his original Venom reality and universe? Or will he instead now go on a crazy adventure throughout the multiverse with Peter Parker? Who knows exactly? And it just sets up the future possibilities with Tom Holland and Venom, working together, or Venom having this multiversal knowledge, which will equip Eddie with some skills that could be really important in some coming conflicts. It's all really, really fascinating. And it's like, don't get me wrong, that stuff's really cool, but I feel like we've been talking about it for a while. We're not clear on exactly what it means, but it's a big tease and it's getting people excited about where it is going. But I actually think the thing that nobody's pointing out is how crazy it is that Venom talks about billions of years of hive mind knowledge, and that it is possibly implied that he knows who Spider-Man is. And I know you're probably like, no, I'm clicking off this video. There's no way he knows who Spider-Man is. I'm out of here. No, you don't click off this video. You hold your butt and you just listen to what I have to say. I will convince you. So here's how I think this could work and how he might have already run into Spider-Man. And it's crazy, but if they do this and pull it off right, it could be very, very fun, okay? This all has to do with the Clintar, which is the real name from comic books of the race of Venom. Now, this is hinted at earlier in the movie where Eddie talks about how he was exiled, how Venom was kicked off of his planet, and he just comes up with a name for it. Now, in the comic books, there's precedence for this, and it's really interesting. So a lot of Venom and the symbiote stuff has sort of been being retconned over the past decade in Marvel Comics, and it's been super fun what they've been doing with those characters. They take them and introduce the Clintar planet, and you learn more about that with Flash Thompson when he's hanging out with the Guardians of the Galaxy. But then through the Gore the God Butcher series and ultimately Null, the symbiote god, we learn that the symbiotes were actually created by a dark elder god named Null on the home world of Gore, who would eventually become Gore the God Butcher. It's at this point, after some craziness, that Null erases the memories of his own creation, and most of the symbiotes lose their memories or they become modified. Venom believes itself to be part of the 998th generation of a lineage of symbiotes that were born on the planet Clintar and hatched of a clutch of eggs in a cavern. From there, the Venom symbiote, because it refuses to obey the will of Null, is exiled from its own people. He ends up meeting up with a Kree explorer, but eventually comes back into contact with the symbiotes, but they don't want him to be involved with their species because they feel as though he'll contaminate the gene pool. Venom doesn't want to dominate hosts. He wants to protect them. He's different than the other symbiotes, and they don't like that. So he becomes imprisoned, and in that prison, he is brought by the Beyonder to Battle World. And then this is where Spider-Man eventually finds the Venom symbiote, bonds with it during the original Secret Wars. And this is where it gets absolutely crazy, because it is possible that Venom, the hive mind symbiote, has actually had encounters with Peter Parker, Tom Holland Peter Parker, before on a potential battle world that might happen in a future or in a past that no longer exists, but that this symbiote still remains. I know that sounds really crazy, but it's actually technically possible. A lot of people have been like, how's this Venom Spider-Man thing gonna work? Why does Venom have the powers that he has, etc., etc.? And who knows? Maybe not. Maybe they won't do that Secret War thing, or maybe Venom will be imprisoned and eventually end up as a prisoner of the Beyonder and meet up with Spider-Man in the future. But this hive mind symbiote thing, they could have knowledge of the multiverse. I mean, if they have knowledge of elder gods, if they have been around for billions of years and have all this stuff that would melt a normal human brain, it's actually possible that the Venom symbiote has some knowledge of other universes and perhaps even of the totems, Madam Web, and some of the bizarre things that could be going on with Sony and Marvel. And that's why I think that part of the post-credit scene is more impactful than him seeing Spider-Man. It's cool that he sees Spider-Man, and it's interesting that he says that guy, kind of indicating that he has some knowledge of either Spider-Men throughout the multiverse or that specific Spider-Man in Peter Parker. I don't know. It's crazy, crazy stuff. And we'll be doing more videos about this, talking about this on streams, because my mind is just jumping all over the place on crazy ways they could do this and make it all make sense. And I'm obviously a huge Secret Wars fan, and so tying it all to that or going to Secret Wars would be sick. Remember, we know that there was a multiversal war before. Kang had a multiversal war before. Is it freaking possible that Venom was back on that first multiversal war? And did he have an interaction with a version of Spider-Man, maybe even Tom Holland's Spider-Man, that then got eliminated and was erased from the timeline, but somehow the symbiotes still have that memory? It would be crazy. It would be wild. But why not? I say, you let me know what you think about this and just in general what you think about the post-credit scene and where we are going with Venom and Spider-Man, the MCU and Sony. It's an exciting time, man. Let me know your thoughts and get hyped in that comment section down below. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to our channel to see more of our content pop up in your feed. Go check out our live streaming channel. We have a ton of fun live streaming over there. Monday through Friday, 10:30 Eastern Standard Time in the morning. Always a good time, so check that out. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.